Hello, everybody. This is Catholic Dad, episode number 117. I see potential, and so um, I just had my ninth kid. The more I think about it, that's a lot of children. And whenever a baby's born, you hear from people you haven't heard from before. Everybody's always wishing you well. It's really one of the better times in anybody's life. A little baby comes into the world, and it's almost magical. And people you haven't heard from in a long time, they knock on your door a little bit or send you a note. Well, anyway, so a family friend of mine, and I don't really know the man. I think I've met him one or two times, and I was kind of a kid, so it's not like I got to interact with him and pick his brain. But he was a good friend of my Uncle Cornelius Murphy, and we called him Uncle Neal. But I only call him Uncle Neal in hindsight because he succumbed to the cancer in his early 20s and died. And from what I could tell, Uncle Neal was a Triton missile. He was rising, rising, and he was going to hit that water. And once he hit the water, he was going to shoot straight for the stars. I think he was tall, he was good looking, he was noble. I think he was very amiable and affable and capable. And I think he was genuinely a good man and genuinely a good steward of everything that's right in the world. That's what I hear. I've never heard an ill will word about the man. And well, anyway, so I see potential in my family. Well, anyway, so this man who knew my Uncle Neal, he writes me an email and says, you have a beautiful, great family. I wonder what the future holds for your family. Please respond. Well, I don't know what the future holds for my family, but anyway, so I just want to share this here. This is an OCS pen, Officer Candidate School, Uncle Neal's Officer Candidate School. And I don't know why I was, fortunate enough to get this, but, I hold it near and dear to my heart. I wear it rarely and frequently, but when I do, it means a lot. And so, I'm fortunate enough to have that pin. Now, what do I see? The people in my family, what do they see when they see that Officer Candidate School pin of Uncle Neal's? I suspect my mom or her brother, or my grandma passed, and my aunt also passed. But if they saw that pen, they would feel sorrow, I would suspect, and maybe a little bit of nostalgia. But I never knew Uncle Neal the man. I just know what I heard from people. But so when I see that pen, I see potential, and what I see is a 22-year-old man with all the potential in the world, ready to break the surface of the water like a Triton missile and shoot to the stars. And so when Uncle Neal's friend asked me, what do I see in the future of my children, I guess I see what Uncle Neal could have been, a good, honest person, just a Catholic gentleman. That's what I see my children becoming, or Catholic ladies. Go out into the world, right, and you align yourself, you orient yourselves right, you live a sacramental life, and you abide by the church, you practice piety and obedience to the church that Christ established. And then you practice your virtues, the 7 cardinal virtues. You work on them throughout your life, and if you do that, and you celebrate a vocation of priesthood, or becoming a nun, or being marriage, a mother and a father, work the virtues into your life, work hard, never tire, and just keep moving forward. And so what I see for my children is what I suspect my grandma saw for my Uncle Neal. And his life was cut entirely too short, too early. And that's why when we look at our kids growing, we kind of have to cherish them, because you have no idea how long they're going to be around for, and you have no idea how high they're going to reach and what stars they're going to grab for. And so give them everything they need to survive, I would suspect. Give them the faith, teach them virtue, teach them how to be right. But beyond that survival, then you let them free, and you just throw them into the world. And if you do that right when they're little, and when they go into the world, and they're not going to become of this world, they will go into this world, and the world will be changed by them. And that's my great hope for my children. That's my great hope for the future. I tell my boys in particular, I said, I don't care what the heck you do, but whatever you do, you have to make enough money to provide for a large family, which means you have to be rich. And that's kind of a joke. But in some ways, if you're a father and you're a provider, boy, you better work hard, and you better grind your knuckles to the bone providing for those little ones, because they're not cheap these days, And so, well, anyway, what I want for my children is to live a virtuous Catholic life. So at the end of the day, that they can look their Maker in the eye, or St. Peter at the gates, and not apologize for anything. That's the great hope. That's the potential for my kids. And I guess that's in honor of Uncle Neal. Again, this is Officer Candidate School Pin. That's Uncle Neal's. And I see the potential in my kids like Uncle Neal had. And that's the great hope. That's the great hope. And this is honor of Uncle Neal. I've never met the man. He died in, I guess, in the 1960s. Yeah, and I was born in 75. And so this is Catholic Dad signing off, making you think about it. Please like or subscribe. Pray the daily rosary and get the Mass, everybody. And take care. Have a nice night.